Hello, internet people. Today you can watch me add a new feature to a SaaS I launched a while ago. So let me just bring it up. Actually, I already have it here running locally. And let me just bring it over here. And this is my SaaS screen mockups. This basically allows you to generate beautiful mobile designs instantly with AI. So you can just enter a prompt for a screen that you want to generate. For example, a login screen, a food delivery app screen with restaurant listings, so stuff like that. And then what you get are, beautiful screen designs like this. You have a couple of export options in the app, and I'm going to show those in just a bit, but I just want to give you a quick overview of the SaaS here. And so this isn't just some little side project that I built and never launched. So if I go to Screen Mockups app, here you can see my project is live. And I actually have generated some revenue from this, nothing crazy. So I use Dodo payments. And I'm just going to prove to you guys that this is a real world project. So let me just sign into my account here. Drum rolls, and there you go. Total revenue generated $164. Um, I know it's not much, but it's a start. And since I last made an update a couple of months ago, I haven't touched this project. And I was scrolling on X the other day, and I found a really cool feature that I want to try and implement in my project here. So this application doesn't give you free credits. I used to do that early on when I initially launched so that people could try it out, but as I got more users, yeah, that became very expensive, so I had to get rid of that. And so now you have to purchase credits in order to use the app. But like I was saying on X, I saw this project, shipper.now, and here on the landing page, where is this thing? There's an interactive demo that is super cool. So you have like this playground. It basically gives you a uh, minimized version of the actual app without being logged in or without having, any credits, whatever. And all you need to do is basically click the type of application that you want to build, and you get like this nice real world chat experience. So this is kind of what you can expect to see when you use this app. So you send a prompt of what type of web application you want to build, and you're going to get a response back from the AI, and then you're going to get the preview here as well as the code. And this is pretty cool because I think I get a lot of visitors to my site, and I get a lot of people even creating accounts, but they don't go any further from there. And I think it might be because they're a bit skeptical to make a purchase to buy credits. Um, if they don't know exactly how the application works, which it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, I have some videos here that show basically the features of the app and how you can export the Figma, download the screenshot, or export the code. But I think sometimes people still need that extra effort put into where you can convince them more to that your project or your app is actually going to be useful for them. And if you can't offer free credits, then you're not left with a lot of options to do that other than showing videos or interactive graphics. So I think this interactive demo is super cool, and I'm gonna try and and build this out in this video. But let me just give you a quick overview of the app here. So I can log in. And so bring me to my dashboard where I can see all the screens that I've generated. And at the bottom here, you can see my credits. And these are my screens basically. So what I can do in this app is enter a prompt to generate a design. And once I do that, it will take me to that screen where I get to a page like this. From here, I can further prompt to update the screen. And at the bottom here, I have a number of revisions, which I can switch in between. And then we can export. So we can download the zip, export the code, or copy to Figma. So this entire page is what I want to convert into an interactive demo. So that's what we're going to try and figure out in this video. So we want to take this, make this into a reusable component that doesn't need to be connected to any API in order for it to work, so that we don't use our open router credits for this. So it's like we have a set of templates to start with. Maybe we can have like a login screen, a profile screen, a dashboard. So the same thing like here where we have like some predefined set of templates that you can use for this interactive demo. So maybe we have 2 to start with or whatever. So our task here will be to convert this page into a reusable component that we can then use in other pages, and specifically our landing page. And yeah, so I haven't done any planning for this, so we're gonna see how difficult this actually is. So for context, I have my front-end project running already, as well as my backend. I don't think I'm actually going to need to touch any backend code here. But I have my front-end open here in Cursor. And for this, what I'm going to be using is Codex. So I don't think I've ever used Codex in this project before. So what I'm going to do is just initialize Codex in here by running the Codex CLI command. And then what we can do is do slash init to create that very useful agentsmd file. So before I start working on this feature, I just want Codex to have a good understanding of my code base. One thing about this code base that I kind of regret is that I started building this project in Bolt. And so in Bolt, if you're not too specific in your initial prompt, it just makes random choices in terms of like the framework to use. And so here it just created for me a React Vite app, whereas I would have preferred for it to create a Next.js app. But that's okay. We're just going to keep what we have. Yeah, so while this is still going, just add a bit more information here. For the database, I'm using Supabase. So that's where my data lives for my app here. You already saw that I'm using Dodo payments. And then my backend lives on Fly.io. But yeah, so just waiting for Codex to finish generating that agentsmd file. So as you can see, I did use Claude before. Well, basically, before Codex, I used Claude to build out most of the features, but I no longer have a Claude subscription. Um, so we're just going to be using Codex here. So it looks like it generated that agentsmd file for us. Basically outlines the repository guideline, the structure, so where the files should go, reside, some script commands, coding styles and naming conventions, test guidelines, commit stuff, and environment variables. Great. So we have that in place. Next, before I even start prompting here, you know what I should do is I should create a new branch. So we get checkout B, interactive playground. Okay. Yeah. So the next thing here that I want to do before I even start prompting away on the task, I just want Codex to fully understand how this screen works. So that's what I'm going to do here. I need you to fully understand how this mockup app component works. And let me just double check something. So that's under pages, mockup app. Yeah. So this mockup app component is basically the main function of this project. It's basically this entire screen that you see here. So it's very important that Codex understands how this screen operates, because this is essentially what we're going to try and create a interactive playground demo for. Okay, so there's a lot that goes on in this component. And here it's just giving me a quick summary of that. I think we're ready to now start writing our prompt. What I'm going to do is take a screenshot of this thing. Great. So the reason that I asked you to understand how this mockup app component works is because our task is going to be to convert this into an interactive demo. Okay, how to best continue with this prompt. What I mean when I say interactive demo is that I would like to take this component and be able to place it on any page, for example, my landing page, and then be able to provide some template data that we can use so that the user can um, get an interactive demo where they can select a screen type, and then we go through the normal chat flow and response from the AI. But this is going to be all without making any API requests because, like I said, we're going to have like one or two templates saved locally so that the user can actually experience the core functionality of the app even without signing up or having any credits. And let me show the. I wonder if I should show this example. I don't want you to start working on this right now. We're just going to plan this out, me and you together. So, what I want you to do first is understand what I am trying to do and let me know if there's anything unclear. What say I like to confirm? How rich should a template be? Initial screen plus one scripted chat response. Okay, let's answer this. I think just an initial screen we want to show. Initial screen with scripted chat response. For example, the user selects the login screen demo. One, we have a predefined user message, not modern login screen. Two, and then we have the AI response, I believe. Let's just do something like this. The AI response. We get the predefined AI response. After the AI response, we should show the preview just as the actual does. We can start with now and then worry about simulating revisions and export options. Should the chat stay fixed to the scripted conversation and can user type anything else? No. After the AI response, the user should not be able to send any message. Maybe just disable the chat prompt. Input. Okay. Do we want per template revision history, thumbnails, and okay. Right now, worry about revisions. Revisions. Just imagine this is the first revision, first and only revision. Where do you expect the template data to live? Right now, let's just hard code the template data locally. Locally, whatever you feel is the best. Any other UX changes for the demo example, hiding navigation buttons? Yeah. Let's hide the whoops. Let's hide the buttons. So we're gonna hide this, we're gonna hide this. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for now, I'm telling Codex here that I just want to start with an initial screen with a scripted chat response. So if imagine we have an interactive demo and I select a minimal login screen, then that's going to be the first message here is going to be the user message, a minimal login screen, and then after that we're going to get a predefined AI response. And then after that, I want to display the mockup preview like you see here. And in that, in the planning here, I'm also telling Codex that for now, let's not worry about any revisions or export options. And then also once once the once the scripted conversation has run its course, then the user should not be able to enter a new prompt here at the bottom. So it should be disabled, as is the case here in this interactive demo. If I select a to-do list app, we get the simulated conversation here. We get our response on the right. And at the bottom, you can see the chat prompt is disabled. So that's the experience we're going for. Now that I have provided you with all that information, I want you to think carefully about what is the best and cleanest way to build this. Should we create an entirely separate component from this one that we can then just place on any page we want? The the idea here is that I want it to look identical as the mockup app component. Yeah, I'm just wondering if we should reuse this mockup app component. Um, I think that's going to get really messy if we reuse it, but if we have to recreate it, we're probably going to have a lot of redundancies in the code base. But let's see what Codex let's see what Codex thinks for us. Here's how I'd approach building the thing interactive demo cleanly. Split the current page into two layers, mockup experience, presenter. New component that renders all existing UI, sidebar, chat, transcript, receive its state handlers via props. Build a mockup demo container and purchase a mockup experience. Features a single can transcript user then the pre-rendered HTML and disables control chat input. Oh, I think this is a solid plan. What it's telling me here is that what it proposes is that we create a new child component called mockup experience that is going to be responsible solely for rendering our UI and receiving data as props. And then we have the container that will render this component will be responsible of wiring the live data as well as any hooks and services that it will need. Kind of like a common pattern you see in React applications. Do, 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 do. Okay. Okay, I think this is a solid plan. But before you start working on this task, I want you to create a to-dos list locally that we can track in a markdown file for all the steps that you'll need to implement so that we can keep track of our current progress and what we still need to do. Yeah, when I'm vibe coding, I usually like to do these big tasks, break them down into like smaller to do items. I just find like the agent is able to do a much better job when working on specified tasks as opposed to a one big thing. And I don't want it to break my code. Refactor. Define a local template data structure. Da, 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 da. So it's very important that we get this right because I'm not messing around here. I'm not playing around. I'm going to be pushing this to production today in this video. So if anything gets broken, it's not Codec's fault. It's my fault for not reviewing this generated code or this code that we're going to be changing and generating. Okay, thank you for doing that. I want you to start working on the first two. Oops. Whoops, whoops, whoops. What's going on there? Thank you for doing. Ugh, come on. Okay. I guess I have to type this out. I just had some network issues, so let me just re-enter that message. And let's get Codex to start working on this for us. While Codex is doing all the hard work, I'm going to do some other stuff on my next screen. Codex is still hard at work here for us guys. There's a lot of code changes here. Yeah, so this is definitely taking some time. But that's expected because it's a fairly complicated task. And yeah, it's broken. But I'm not going to overreact right now because um, it's still working. Jeez. Okay. It's a lot of props. So that error went away. Okay. So it's finally completed here. And I did a lot of things. Carved out the full UI into a reasonable percent of components so it can be dropped in other flows. Slim the mockup app down to data container. Okay. You can see we have some linting errors here. But those are unrelated. Let's just fix these. And it did update our to-do list. So all of that just for one one task here. Um, Refactor the existing markup page. Yeah. Okay. What is the next task to be completed? Refactor the mockup app container so it cleanly feeds the new mockup experience. Why is that? Mm, hasn't that already been implemented though? Yeah, that has been implemented because our application is working, as you can see here. Um, I just want to test and make sure that the flow still works before moving on. Click generate. Simple hello screen. Generating your mockup. Please work. Please work. Please work. Yeah. So the flow is still working. That is great. Codex, thank you for not breaking my project. And we should have the export code working as well. Beautiful. Okay. Please move on to the next task. So next up is to define a local template data structure, such as the initial prompt, a assistant reply, HTML response, and metadata. Yeah, I'm just so happy that it still works. We did a lot of changes there, and the last thing that I want to do is have to go through a debugging loop with Codex to try and get this thing working if it was broken. Because remember, we are building for production here, and eventually, what we build here, I'm going to be publishing that to my production app here, Screen Mockups that app. Which, by the way, this is hosted on Netlify, so that's where we are going to be pushing these changes. Okay, so Codex is finished with the task, and it has created this mockup demo templates TypeScript file that contains the predefined demo templates with scripted prompts, replies, and the HTML mockup. So we have an array of our mockup demo templates, and we have two templates. First is a login, a dark mode login screen, title, label, initial prompt, assistant reply, and then our HTML response. Beautiful. And then the second one is an analytics dashboard. Um, so Codex just generated the HTML code for me here. I may come back in the future and change this with some other demos that I think might attract people's attention even more. But for now, we're just going to stick to these. And next up is to integrate the mockup demo where we want the interactive preview. So let's go to to-dos. So I believe where we want to show it is in our landing page. So on the home page, maybe I show it here. I think the sooner we show it, the better. Yeah, like this one has the interactive demo immediately below the chat prompt, so we can do ours like below this carousel, I think. Yeah. I'd like to show the mockup demo on my landing page immediately after the carousel section. So let's add a new section underneath that to display the mockup demo. Let's just see. Let's see what we got here. And we confirmed that screen generation still works as expected, so that's good. So now we just need to confirm that the interactive demo works too. Embedded a new mockup demo right below the landing page carousel. Okay, so yeah, here's the interactive demo, but as you can see, the UI is a bit broken. Well, let's try to see what happens if we click on Analytics Dashboard. Show me Analytics Dashboard. And here's a clean Analytics Dashboard. So the UI is also broken. And in the phone mockup, um, so let's try to fix this. Okay, so it kind of works, but as you can see, the layout is completely broken. Um, the sidebar is taking up the full height of the landing page. The interactive demo should respect the width of all the other sections, and it should have also like a fixed height. For example, take a look at the second image that I shared. This is how another application shows their interactive demo. Yeah, I'm not sure this is the best prompt, really. Mm, kind of works, but it's not perfect. Alright, so Codex is still doing some updates, but if we take a look at the landing page now, you can see that the interactive demo now has this like embedded look and feel to it, which is exactly what I was looking for. It's kind of the same thing in this, example that we're sort of using as inspiration. Um, so this is great. This is really good. Just have some issues maybe with the phone, so maybe we're going to need to make the phone be a little bit smaller. But it's looking good. That's so cool. That's so cool. That's so cool.